Hi there, we're here at front desk in Neill-Wycik. It's the front lobby. My name is Paul. I work security, and we're just going to briefly go over a couple of things. Security, whenever they are on duty, we're wearing our uniforms. They are completely black. They say security on the lapel here, right on the side of the arm, and big bold security across the back. All right? Anyone pretending to be security who is not in uniform is not a security guard on duty, okay? So at the front desk, when you guys first come into the building, we ask that you use your member card to access the door if you live here, right? Your guests will ring the doorbell. It is very important that you and you alone use your access card that security made for you. It's nothing personal against your guests or anyone else that might try to come and visit you, but they need to sign in with security. This is for your safety, for everyone's safety, okay? So they'll approach the front desk after being let in, and they gotta use ID to sign in. We accept many forms of ID. I'm not gonna read them all, but essentially we don't accept a SIM card, a credit card, or a TTC pass, and actually people pull out a TTC pass pretty frequently. So if your guests do not have photo ID, we're going to ask them to message you, to call you, to text you, whatever, get a hold of you somehow, and you'll have to come down and vouch for them in person, okay? So if they do not have photo ID, you must be here and come down here and vouch for that person. We really don't appreciate that simply because it wastes your time, their time, our time. We can do it once, twice, but we want to see photo ID, okay? Again, we type it into the system. It's only in the system for the purposes of if anything should happen, either to you, to your guests, to both of you. That's not obviously in your plans that something bad would happen, but it certainly can happen. And when it does happen, we have the ability to say, here is this person's guest's name. They were also with them. They came approximately at this time. If the emergency medical services are needed, or if Toronto Police are needed, okay? Which again is not part of your plans, but it can happen sometimes, all right? So nonetheless, if they have photo ID, they sign in, they need to know your unit number, and not just your name and your unit number. If they do not know your unit number, we are not allowed to tell people your unit number. We are only permitted to tell emergency medical services and the police, and law enforcement, okay? They come in here saying we need to go see this person, and that name is a person that lives here. Then we can tell them, we can escort them right up to the unit, okay? Those are serious emergency situations, right? Otherwise, we cannot tell you, even your parents, the unit that you live in, if they've forgotten. So please message them well in advance of their arrival if they're coming to visit you and they want to come upstairs to see you. You just don't want to greet them in the lobby or in the back alley for a drop-off and a pickup. If they want to go upstairs, they have to know your unit, all right? Okay, we're here at front desk still, and when you come in to the front lobby, you can do quite a few things at front desk. You can get quite a few, services at front desk. You can come up to security, and not only can you ask them questions about the building, you can ask if you have a parcel. You can ask for garbage bags, recycling bags, and compost bags. These are not normally kept here, but we're just showing them to you here for simplicity, illustrative purposes, right? So we keep them behind front desk and just ask security nicely if we have any garbage bags or recycling bags or compost bags, and we can get you some. We also have light bulbs. We tend to run out of light bulbs and mice traps, but we do get them restocked by maintenance as well. So if we don't have anything right then and there, we'll probably have it by the next business day. They'll bring it up to us, and then we can offer you a couple items that you need. If you need a stapler in a pinch to use at front desk, we generally have a stapler with staples, and we have a hole punch as well. You can't take them away from the front desk, but you can use them here at the front desk temporarily to do your thing. If a parcel arrives for you, currently Neill-Wycik uses a paper slip notification system. You will receive in your mailbox a slip with your name and your unit on it saying you have one or more parcels. Please bring that slip to front desk. with photo ID, and we will give you your parcel. There is an instance where your parcel will not be with us. If there's some form of a fee due, so there was customs fees or any kind of brokerage fees due, then you'll receive a slip directly from the courier, okay, so UPS, FedEx, DHL, whoever, and that'll be in your mailbox. And a lot of people will come to front desk and be like, oh, I have a parcel. No, that means that they tried to deliver a parcel for you, but there's an amount owing, and the slip from the courier will actually say that amount on the front or the back of the slip. So nonetheless, that's the only time when we don't accept a parcel for you. You'll receive that parcel slip. You'll deal directly with the courier in that case. But if you have the slip from Neill-Wycik, which is a white slip approximately this big, and maybe Josh can put that into this video as well. You come to front desk with photo ID, we will get you your parcel. Okay, so we're up here on Neill-Wycik's 23rd floor roof deck. This is a spot where many of you will come to check out the view, looking south behind me. We want to go over some very important things right now about your conduct and behavior in the building, when you are in the building, when your guests are in the building. First and foremost, we're not saying to you not to drink alcohol, not to enjoy, beer or other alcoholic beverages, but we ask that you do not drink in the public spaces of the building, and that includes all of our roof decks. Neill-Wycik has 3 roof decks. This is the one with the best view, of course, up on the top. The other 2 are on the 4th and the 5th floor. However, you can come up here, you can be happy, you can be drunk, but you cannot drink on our roof decks, in the hallways, in the stairwells, okay? You cannot be drinking. You can come up here, you can have, a great chat, you can smoke, you can be happy and merry. You cannot drink in the public spaces of the building, okay? Neill-Wycik security will give you 1 warning, and then if it happens again, we're going to ask your guests to leave, and we may even confiscate your alcohol. You don't want that, right? You're going to get in security's bad books, reports will be written. It can definitely negatively affect your living experience here. We don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. All right, so security patrols the building. We patrol the building multiple times a day, right from the top to the bottom, all right? So we will come floor by floor. We don't inspect your units. We don't come into your units, but we go every corridor of the building, starting with the roof deck, all the way down through every facility, into our garage, into our basement, all right? So if you see security come around and we're looking around things, it's because we're on our patrol, all right? In addition to that, like I mentioned, we enter the facilities. So at front desk, once you have an orientation, you can book out keys for the facilities, and then you can go to the respective facilities. Roof deck is not locked, and up here we have barbecues. You're welcome to use the barbecues. You do need your own utensils. If you're having difficulty lighting them, they are natural gas barbecues. Security can help you with that. Just come and ask us nicely, and we can explain to you at front desk how to light the barbecues. Worst case scenario, if we have an opportunity to, we can come and show you how to light them, all right? Okay, we're here up on Neill-Wycik's 22nd floor. I'm going to give everyone some more important information regarding guests and fire safety procedures. As we mentioned earlier, your guests need to sign in with photo ID, but there are limits on the number of guests you can bring in. Toronto Fire will inspect our building, periodically, and they establish limits on all the public spaces, but also on the living units that you guys live in. So, for example, some units have a maximum capacity of 15, others have a maximum capacity of 20. This always includes the members that live there, all right? So if a unit has a maximum capacity of 20, for example, and there's 5 people that live there, that means at most 15 guests can sign in for that unit. Whether or not they sign in under one name or several of the names that live there, so yourself and 2 of your roommates are just all underneath you, it doesn't matter. Once the maximum capacity is reached, security has the right to refuse any more guests to sign into that unit. In addition to that, we can and will perform a head count, okay? This is taken very seriously by Toronto Fire, and therefore we take it seriously. We can't have a unit, with 50 people in it. It has happened. It probably will happen again. Again, we're not here to put a damper on your party plans, but we do have to think about the bigger picture of overall safety. Your safety, your guests' safety, the safety of other people living here and other guests visiting here, okay? So in the event of a fire evacuation, for example, a unit that is well beyond capacity can have serious implications if everyone starts to run out at once. So this is a good opportunity to talk about what to do in the event of a fire or you hear the fire alarm. So Neill-Wycik is a 22-story building. We have a building-wide fire alarm and fire panel system. Inside of each of your dormitory units, you will find at either end a heat sensor and a smoke detector. These are not connected, the smoke detectors are not connected directly to the Neill-Wycik building-wide fire panel system. So if you're cooking something and, accidents happen, something begins to burn, the smoke detector in your unit will begin to sound, okay? And this is obviously doing its job. That is a good, please go and deal with it and deal with whatever item is, burning or producing some smoke. We ask that you do not open up your door to the corridor, or your doors, plural, as much as possible. Open the windows to your unit, vent that smoke outside of the building, okay? If too much smoke reaches the corridor of Neill-Wycik, the primary corridors leading to your dorms, okay, then the building-wide fire alarm will sound. And then security has to go into a particular procedure. The fire department does have to come here, and we have to go through quite a bit of a delay, okay? It results in a big delay. Having said that, right, if the fire alarm sounds and you do not see smoke or fire, right, remain calm. Security will address the entire building through the fire alarm panel's building-wide public address system, and they will give specific instructions, okay? So you do not need to immediately evacuate. Of course, if you see smoke, if you see fire, please evacuate. You will not be able to evacuate using the elevators. The elevators in a fire emergency will go to ground floor, okay? They will drop down to ground floor for firefighter use. You must exit via one of the stairwells. There is an east stairwell, and I'm pointing in that direction now. There is a west stairwell, and there's even a north stairwell from the 9th floor only going down. Okay, so from the 9th floor down, there's also the north end stairwell. We call it the McGill stairwell. There's the east stairwell, and there's the west stairwell. Once you reach ground floor, especially via the east or the west stairwells, there will be more staff on ground floor directing you on what to do, what direction to take, what exit to take from the building. Do not argue with them. It is a potential serious emergency, and just leave the building as you are directed, all right? Again, however, if you do not see smoke, if you do not see fire, but the fire alarm is sounding, okay, remain calm. Security will come on the public address system within about a minute or two, and will explain to you whether or not you need to evacuate. To be specific, we may tell 3 floors to evacuate. So if there is an issue on the 7th floor, we are required by law to ask that the 7th, 8th, and 6th floors, so one above and one below where the trouble is or where the problem is, to evacuate. If you're not on one of those floors, then remain calm and wait for further instructions. Stay where you are, wait for further instructions, okay? If you are on a floor that has been asked to evacuate, proceed to evacuate via either the east, west, or north stairwells, as I said before. It's also important not to tamper with any of Neill-Wycik's fire safety equipment. Again, we have the heat sensors and the smoke detectors on the ceilings. We have the manual activation pull stations throughout the corridors of the building. We have the firefighters' phones within glass cases. We have fire extinguishers and fire hose on every floor at either end. Please do not tamper with any of these things. You may trigger the alarm, and even in the instances where you would not trigger the alarm, if you damage your equipment, you are subject to a fine from Toronto Fire that I believe is up to as high as $5,000. We're back here at front desk. We're going to talk about the number of guests that can sign in and a couple of other policies concerning your guests. So as stated earlier, there are limits on the number of guests you can sign in based on Toronto Fire Code. I won't repeat that. However, Neill-Wycik has its own bylaws, and we have several bylaws that pertain to the length of your guest stay and how frequently they can sign in. So currently, your guests cannot sign in more than 8 times in a calendar month, okay? And they may not sign in more than 5 times in a row. So 5 days, nights, whatever, in a row. Why do we have this in place? We have this in place for something very specific, okay? In the past, it's happened a lot. Neill-Wycik's members, not everybody, but a handful of members, will have a guest or two sign in every single day, 7 days a week, and then you're at school or you're at your placement, your co-op, and your roommates are finding that your guest is there without you present. They are sleeping there. They are using the amenities there, the bathroom, the kitchen. They're helping themselves to food in the fridge and in the cupboards. Essentially, they are living here without paying. This is known as squatting, okay? It's definitely not appreciated by anyone. Hence, Neill-Wycik erected these bylaws a long time ago, before I even started working here. So, if your guests are coming, do be aware, and they're coming frequently, do be aware that we have these bylaws in place, right? And in the event that a complaint is formally lodged, security is obligated to look into it, and if there is a guest or several that are coming out more frequently than what the bylaw states, they can be trespassed from the building for a month at minimum, 30 days. They will not be allowed to sign in for 30 days, and then they can come back, okay? So keep that in mind, guys.
Can you talk about the trespassing as well?
Yes. Now we're going to get to a little more even serious aspect of security in the building and your safety in the building. If for whatever reason, one of your guests, several of your guests is caught doing something completely inappropriate and potentially endangering the safety of members here and of other guests here, security will remove them from the premises, and we may trespass them from the premises as well, okay? This means they're not allowed back. Were they caught throwing something off of the roof deck? It's a huge, huge, huge safety risk, okay? Were they, drinking in the stairwells? Were they dealing drugs in the building? Doesn't matter what it is, but at the end of the day, security is here to keep everyone safe, you and your guests, and if other guests are causing a problem, causing a ruckus, creating too much noise when you're partying in your place. We're going to talk about noise complaints next as well. We will ask them to leave. If they're non-cooperative, we will trespass them, okay? In addition to this, if someone is causing an issue for you guys, you can come down. So again, this is dealing with guests. You can come down and you can ask that security trespass someone. This is taken very seriously. You can't the following day or the following week, we've kissed and we've made up, and so we don't want to have that person trespassed anymore. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, because now you're going to have to deal with management and potentially the board of directors, okay? So we take it very seriously to trespass someone in here. If security's trespassing someone, they've caused a big problem. They've done something really wrong, really bad. If you come down and ask, you or your roommates come down and ask to trespass someone, we're going to ask you for reasons, and we have to file a report as well. Okay, so take that very seriously, but we can do it. Right now, we're going to talk about something that happens rather frequently. We're going to talk about noise complaints at Neill-Wycik. So everyone has the right to quiet enjoyment of their room in Neill-Wycik. Okay, their actual room that you're paying to live in. And there will come a time when you need to study or you need to sleep. And your roommates may not be studying the same thing as you or in any way, shape, or form on the same schedule as you. So they've decided to party. We can't control how you guys, live and get along. But we do ask that common courtesy be employed, okay? So if one of your roommates comes out of their room and says, hey, you know what, I got a big exam tomorrow, or I'm in the middle of writing a paper, something along those lines, you're pretty noisy right now, do you think you can take it elsewhere, do you think you can keep it down? Do your best to do this, okay? Do your best to accommodate your fellow roommates, your fellow unit mates, right? If this does not happen, and it really is a disturbance to you, feel free to call security or come down and speak to security, okay? Our phone number at Neill-Wycik is 416-977-2320, and the extension to security is 3000, okay? 3000.
You guys also have a direct line at 977-2322.
Okay, I'm unaware of that, I'm sorry. So at the end of the day, you can call down or you can physically come down, you can file the noise complaint, and security will come up there and ask that the noise, be kept to a minimum. If it does not get reduced and there is still excessive noise and there are guests, we will ask those guests to leave. This can become a bit of a problem, but again, we're here not to impede you guys from having fun, but we are here and we are required to ensure that everyone has a safe and quiet enjoyment of their unit.